Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some legal excerpts all about protecting charitable assets.
That's right.
It's something I think every organization thinks about on some level.
Yeah.
But these excerpts get into some really specific scenarios.
Just some nuances.
Yeah, and we're going to unpack those finer points so that by the end, you'll be able to make even more informed decisions to protect your organization's resources.
Exactly. It's not just about knowing the basics.
Right.
It's about anticipating those less obvious risks
Yeah.
that can trip you up.
The ones you don't really think about.
Exactly. And we're here to help you navigate those.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The first thing that struck me was the emphasis on a thorough inventory of assets.
Mm-hmm.
It seems obvious, but the excerpts really hammer this home.
Yeah.
Is this something charities frequently overlook?
More often than you might think.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and assume you have a handle on your assets.
Right.
But without a meticulous, detailed inventory, and we're talking everything from bank statements to property deeds to intellectual property, you're missing a crucial piece of the puzzle.
I hadn't even considered intellectual property as an asset
Oh, interesting.
before reading these excerpts.
Okay.
But it makes sense. A charity's name and reputation are incredibly valuable.
Absolutely. Think of it like this.
Okay.
When you see a logo
Mm-hmm.
that trust is built on a foundation of carefully managed intellectual property.
Oh, that's interesting.
And that applies just as much to charitable organizations as it does to big corporations.
Oh.
Safeguarding that trust is essential.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So comprehensive inventory is our starting point.
Right.
What's the next layer of protection we should be thinking about?
Insurance.
Okay.
It's your first line of defense when the unexpected happens.
Yeah.
But the excerpts you shared highlight that it's not as simple as just having a basic policy.
Yeah, the excerpts get into some pretty specific details about liability coverage. There's a section about occurrence basis versus claims-made policies. And I'll admit I got a little lost in the legal jargon.
It's a critical distinction,
Yeah.
especially for organizations dealing with potentially sensitive situations.
Okay.
Think of occurrence basis coverage as a time machine for your liability protection.
Interesting.
It shields you even from claims that emerge years later,
Wow.
based on incidents that happened while the policy was active.
Okay.
This is crucial in today's world where past actions can have long-lasting consequences.
That's a much clearer way to understand it.
Good.
It really highlights the importance of choosing the right coverage.
Absolutely. And the excerpts also point out that many charities unknowingly have significant coverage gaps in their policies.
Uh-oh.
These gaps can leave them exposed to unexpected risks.
Like what? Give me an example.
One area that often gets overlooked is coverage for sexual abuse allegations.
Okay.
This type of coverage can be difficult to obtain and is frequently limited or excluded in general liability policies.
That's a scary thought.
Right.
I imagine that's a huge risk for organizations working with vulnerable populations.
Exactly. So even if getting full insurance coverage is challenging,
Right.
it's crucial for these organizations to have robust internal policies and procedures in place to mitigate this risk.
Okay, so sexual abuse coverage is one gap.
Right.
What other areas should charities be scrutinizing their policies for?
Another common gap is coverage for counseling services.
Oh.
If your organization offers any type of counseling,
Okay.
it's often excluded from general liability policies.
Interesting.
You'd need a separate professional liability or
Right.
errors and omissions policy to cover that.
That's interesting. I wouldn't have thought about that.
Oh,
It seems like there are a lot of potential pitfalls when it comes to insurance.
there are. And the excerpts also mention a few other common gaps.
Okay.
For instance, if your staff or volunteers are using their personal vehicles for charity-related activities, you need non-owned auto insurance.
Makes sense.
And don't forget about geographic limitations.
Oh, right.
If you have any international operations, ensure your coverage extends beyond your home country.
Wow. So much to consider. I'm starting to see why the excerpts place such a strong emphasis on working closely with a knowledgeable insurance broker.
Absolutely. A good broker will help you assess your specific needs and tailor a policy that truly protects your organization.
Okay.
But insurance is just one piece of the puzzle.
Got it.
There's another crucial layer of protection we need to discuss.
Right.
Directors and officers' liability insurance.
Okay, that sounds a bit intimidating.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of this type of insurance?
It complements general liability by shielding your board members and officers from personal liability for decisions and actions taken on behalf of the organization.
Hmm.
Think of it as peace of mind for your leadership team.
So it protects them from things like lawsuits or financial penalties.
Exactly. It covers situations like allegations of wrongful acts mismanagement
Yep.
or breach of duty.
Okay.
But, and this is a key point highlighted in the excerpts,
Mm-hmm.
D&O insurance is not a get-out-of-jail-free card.
What do you mean?
Well, it typically doesn't cover intentional wrongdoing or illegal acts.
Right.
So if a board member knowingly engages in fraud or embezzlement, they're on their own.
Okay.
It also has limitations in terms of what types of claims it covers.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You can't expect insurance to cover deliberate criminal activity.
Right.
So it's a safety net for honest mistakes and judgment calls.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a license to be reckless.
Precisely. It's about mitigating risk for those making decisions in good faith.
Got it.
But speaking of risk, let's shift gears and dive back into intellectual property.
Okay.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the specific strategies the excerpts recommend for protecting those less tangible assets.
Sure. One thing that jumped out at me was the emphasis on trademark registration. I understand why you'd want to protect your logo,
Right.
but the excerpts actually recommend trademarking your organization's name as well.
That's a crucial point. Trademarking your logo is essential, but in today's digital age where online branding is paramount, securing your name as an official mark can be a game changer.
Interesting.
It provides a level of legal protection that can be invaluable in safeguarding your organization's identity.
That's fascinating. I'd never heard of an official mark before.
Yeah.
So trademarking both the name and logo. What other steps should organizations be taking to protect their intellectual property?
Licensing agreements are key.
Okay.
Anytime a third party wants to use your logo or name, even for something as simple as putting it on a T-shirt for a fundraiser,
Right.
you need a written agreement in place.
Okay.
This ensures that your intellectual property is being used appropriately and that you retain control over your brand.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's not just
Yeah.
about preventing unauthorized use. It's also about controlling how your brand is represented.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And if you operate internationally, don't forget to register your trademarks in each country where you're active.
Right.
You'd be surprised how often this gets overlooked.
I bet. Anything else on the intellectual property checklist?
Domain name protection is also critical in today's digital world.
Okay. Make sure you register multiple variations of your organization's name. Using different top-level domains like .org, .net, and .com. You might even consider registering key domain names as trademarks themselves for added protection.
It's amazing how much goes into protecting a charity's identity in the digital age.
It's not just about legal technicalities. It's about protecting your reputation, your brand,
Right.
and your ability to carry out your mission effectively.
That's a powerful way to frame it. We've talked about insurance intellectual property and the importance of a thorough asset inventory. But there's another scenario the excerpts highlight that I think deserves a deeper dive.
Okay.
Third-party use of charitable assets.
That's an area where many charities face unexpected risks.
Okay.
Sometimes the most well-intentioned actions can have unforeseen consequences.
Okay, give me an example. What kind of situation are we talking about here?
Picture this. You have a wonderful community center,
Okay.
and a local scout troop asks to use the space for a fundraising bake sale.
Seems harmless enough, right?
Yeah, totally. It's great to support other community groups. What's the problem?
The problem is that even a seemingly innocent act like this exposes your charity to significant liability.
Okay.
What if someone trips and falls during the bake sale? What if there's an accident in the parking lot?
I see. It's all about understanding the potential consequences.
Exactly.
So how can charities protect themselves in these situations?
That's where due diligence comes in.
Okay.
The excerpts emphasize several crucial steps.
All right.
First, if you're considering renting out space,
Right.
you should always verify the third party's charitable status.
Okay.
This affects how much you can charge for rent.
Oh, interesting.
If they own a registered charity, you need to charge fair market value.
Okay.
Remember, all of your assets should be used to further your charitable purpose.
That makes sense. So verifying charitable status is step one. What else?
The next step is non-negotiable. You absolutely must insist on proof of general liability insurance from the third party. And here's the critical part. Your charity needs to be named as an insured on their policy.
So it's not enough for them to just have insurance. It
Yeah.
has to specifically cover your organization as well.
Exactly. And don't just glance at the policy.
Okay.
Just take a closer look, make sure the coverage amounts are adequate for the activity they're doing.
So, like, if they're hosting a rock climbing event, they'd need higher coverage than a bake sale.
Precisely. And you also need to consider those potential coverage gaps we discussed earlier.
Right.
For example, if their activity involves children, do they have adequate coverage related to potential sexual abuse allegations?
Those nuances really matter.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got insurance covered.
Yeah.
Anything else organizations should be thinking about?
The excerpts recommend using indemnity agreements.
Okay.
This is where the third party agrees to reimburse your charity
Okay.
if you get sued because of their actions.
So it's like an extra layer of protection.
Exactly. But it's important to remember that these agreements are only as good as the third party signing them.
Right.
If they have limited assets, the indemnity might not provide much actual protection.
That's a really important point. It's tempting to be generous and let community groups use your space. But as these excerpts highlight, you have a responsibility to protect your organization and its assets.
You do. It's a delicate balancing act. And sometimes even the most well-intentioned decisions can have unintended consequences.
It's all about informed decision-making and understanding the potential risks involved.
Exactly. And that brings us to a key takeaway from this first part of our deep dive.
Okay.
What stands out to you so far in our exploration of protecting charitable assets?
What's really hit home for me is that proactive protection is essential. It's not enough to just react to problems as they arise. Organizations need to be thinking ahead, anticipating potential risks, and taking steps to mitigate them.
I couldn't agree more. It's about creating a culture of risk awareness.
Right.
And putting systems in place to safeguard your resources.
Yeah.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
I know, right?
There's much more to uncover.
Well, luckily, this is just part one of our deep dive.
That's right.
We'll be back soon to explore even more ways to protect those precious charitable assets.
Looking forward to it.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're continuing our exploration of protecting charitable assets, and I'm eager to delve deeper into some of the specific scenarios we touched on earlier.
Yeah, it's fascinating how even seemingly simple actions can have complex legal and financial implications for charitable organizations. It really underscores the need for vigilance and proactive planning.
You know, one area that particularly piqued my curiosity was the discussion about restricted gifts.
Okay.
The legal excerpts we're examining really highlight the need for meticulous management of these types of donations.
It's an area that can trip up even the most well-intentioned organizations.
Yeah.
You know, with a general donation, a charity has more flexibility in how it uses the funds.
Right.
But a restricted gift comes with specific instructions from the donor on how the money can be spent. This could be tied to a particular program.
Right.
It's a specific time frame or even a geographical area.
So it's all about honoring the donor's intent.
Exactly.
But how does that actually play into protecting charitable assets?
It's crucial to keep detailed records and have a crystal clear understanding of the restrictions attached to each gift.
Okay.
If a charity misuses restricted funds, even unintentionally, it can face serious consequences.
Like what?
We're talking potential legal action damage to its reputation.
Wow.
And even the loss of future donations.
That makes sense. It's like a sacred trust between the donor and the charity.
Exactly.
And I imagine there are some real-world examples out there of charities getting into hot water over mishandling restricted gifts.
There are, unfortunately, one case that comes to mind involved a charity that received a substantial donation specifically earmarked for establishing a scholarship fund for underprivileged students. They ended up using a portion of those funds for general operating expenses.
Oh, no.
Thinking it wouldn't be a big deal.
That sounds disastrous. Did the charity face any legal consequences?
They did. The donor discovered the misuse of funds and took legal action.
Wow.
The charity ended up having to repay the diverted funds and also face significant reputational damage.
Wow. That's a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
It really underscores the importance of transparency and accountability when managing restricted gifts.
Absolutely. This ties back to the initial step we discussed.
Okay.
Creating a comprehensive inventory of all your assets, including those restricted gifts. You need a robust system in place to track those funds separately and ensure they are used in accordance with the donor's wishes.
So it's not just about good intentions, it's about having the systems and processes in place to ensure compliance.
Precisely. And speaking of systems, let's circle back to something we touched on earlier.
Okay.
Directors and officers' liability insurance.
Right.
We talked about how it protects individual board members.
Right.
But it's equally important to understand its limitations.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are some of the scenarios where D&O insurance might not provide coverage.
One key thing to remember is that this type of insurance typically doesn't cover intentional wrongdoing
Right.
or illegal acts. So if a board member knowingly engages in fraud or embezzlement, they're personally liable.
That seems reasonable. You can't expect insurance to bail you out if you're deliberately breaking the law. Any other situations where D&O insurance might not come to the rescue?
Another important exclusion is breach of trust claims brought by public authorities.
Okay.
For example, if a charity is found to have mishandled charitable funds or made improper investments,
Right.
the Attorney General could take legal action.
That's interesting. So there's a separate layer of accountability to the government when it comes to managing charitable assets.
Exactly. Charities have a unique responsibility to the public, and that's reflected in the legal framework that governs them. D&O insurance can provide a valuable safety net,
Right.
but it's not a shield against all potential liabilities.
It's all about understanding the nuances and making informed decisions.
Speaking of nuances, let's revisit the topic of sexual abuse allegations.
We talked about the challenges of getting adequate insurance coverage. But what else can charities do to mitigate this risk?
Proactive policies and procedures are paramount. This includes things like implementing rigorous background checks for anyone working with vulnerable populations,
Okay.
providing mandatory training on abuse prevention,
Right.
and establishing clear reporting mechanisms for any suspected incidents.
It's all about creating a culture of safety and accountability.
Precisely. And it's not just about protecting the organization from liability.
Right.
It's about fulfilling your ethical obligation to create a safe and supportive environment for everyone you serve.
I couldn't agree more. It's heartbreaking to think about the harm that has been done in the past, and it's our collective responsibility to do everything we can to prevent it from happening in the future.
Well said. And remember, protecting against potential abuse allegations is not just about protecting people. It's also about protecting the reputation of the charitable sector as a whole. When one organization experiences a scandal, it casts a shadow over everyone.
That's a good point. It's like a ripple effect. So what steps can individual charities take to help maintain public trust in the sector?
Transparency and accountability are key. Being open about your finances, your governance practices, and how you're addressing potential risks can go a long way in building confidence with donors and the public.
It's about demonstrating that you're taking these issues seriously and that you're being proactive in protecting the resources entrusted to you.
Precisely. It's about going beyond just following the letter of the law.
Right.
And embracing the spirit of ethical leadership and good stewardship.
I love that ethical leadership and good stewardship.
Yeah.
Those are fantastic guiding principles for any charitable organization. This deep dive has been incredibly enlightening so far. We've unpacked so much, from the specifics of insurance policies to the broader principles of transparency and accountability.
It's been a fascinating journey, and the insights we've gleaned from these legal excerpts provide valuable guidance for navigating the complex world of charitable asset protection.
Definitely.
But our exploration isn't over yet.
You're right. We still have more to uncover. Stay tuned for part 3 of this deep dive, where we'll delve into some practical tips and strategies for putting all this knowledge into action. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've spent the last 2 parts unpacking a lot of complex information about protecting charitable assets.
We have.
Now I'm ready to shift gears and focus on practical application.
Okay.
How can we translate all this knowledge into actionable strategies for organizations?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's one thing to understand the concepts,
Right.
but it's quite another to put them into practice.
Exactly.
So let's brainstorm some tangible tips that organizations can implement right away.
Sounds great. Where should we start?
Let's revisit the idea of third-party use.
Okay.
We talked about the importance of insurance, indemnity agreements, and due diligence.
Right.
But beyond those legal safeguards,
Mhm.
there are also practical steps you can take to minimize those risks up front.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What kind of practical steps are we talking about?
For starters, be really selective about who you allow to use your facilities.
Oh,
Don't just jump at the first request that comes your way.
Right.
Ask yourself,
Mm-hmm.
does this group align with our mission and values?
Okay.
Do they have a good track record of safety and responsibility?
So it's not just about checking boxes on insurance forms. It's about making thoughtful choices that align with your organization's overall goals.
Exactly. You might even consider asking for references
Oh,
or doing a site visit before granting permission.
that's a good idea.
You want to feel confident that they'll treat your space with respect and adhere to your safety protocols?
That's smart.
Yeah.
It's about being proactive and not assuming everything will be fine just because someone makes a compelling case.
Right. And once you've decided to move forward,
Mm-hmm.
clear communication is key.
Okay.
Provide them with a detailed written agreement that outlines the terms of use,
Right.
including specific rules and expectations. Don't leave anything open to interpretation.
I like that. A written agreement protects both parties and sets clear boundaries from the get-go. Any other practical tips for managing third-party use?
Consider having a designated staff member
Okay.
or even a volunteer team specifically responsible for overseeing third-party events. They can act as the point of contact,
Okay.
make sure everything runs smoothly,
Right.
and handle any issues that arise.
That's a great idea. It adds a layer of oversight and accountability that can prevent problems down the road. Okay, so we've covered some practical strategies for third-party use. What other areas can we tackle?
Let's talk about financial management.
Okay.
We've already discussed the importance of meticulous record keeping, especially when it comes to tracking restricted gifts.
Right.
But beyond those fundamentals,
Okay.
there are also best practices for managing investments and ensuring long-term financial stability.
Okay. I'll admit financial management is my strongest suit, but I'm eager to learn. What are some key strategies that charities should be implementing?
One of the most important principles is diversification. Okay. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Right.
Spread your investments across different asset classes to minimize risk.
That makes intuitive sense. It's like the old saying, don't bet the farm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want to create a balanced portfolio that can weather market fluctuations and to guide your investment decisions.
Okay.
It's crucial to have a clear investment policy in place.
Right.
This policy, which should be approved by your board of directors, outlines your investment goals, your risk tolerance, and the types of investments that are permissible for your organization.
So it's like a roadmap for making responsible strategic investment decisions.
Precisely. And don't forget about regular reviews of your investment portfolio.
Okay.
Financial landscape is constantly changing.
Right.
So you need to adapt your strategy as needed. You might even consider bringing in an outside financial advisor periodically
Oh,
to provide an objective assessment and fresh perspective.
that's a great tip. It's like getting a checkup for your organization's financial health. You know, we've talked a lot about protecting tangible assets like property and money, but what about a charity's most valuable asset? Its reputation.
Yeah.
How can organizations proactively manage their public image and build trust with their stakeholders?
That's such an important question.
It is.
And it's something that's often overlooked. In today's digital age, news travels fast.
Right.
And a single negative incident can go viral in minutes, causing lasting damage to an organization's reputation.
It's true. Social media can be a powerful force both for good and for bad. So how can charities navigate this landscape and safeguard their reputations?
In a word, transparency. Be open about your operations, both your successes and your challenges. Communicate regularly with your donors, your beneficiaries, and the general public. Let them know how you're using their donations to make a difference.
Right.
But also be upfront about any obstacles you're facing.
It's about building trust through open and honest communication.
Exactly. And don't shy away from addressing criticism.
Okay.
If someone raises a concern, don't get defensive.
Right.
Listen carefully, acknowledge their perspective,
Yeah.
and respond with empathy and a willingness to learn.
That's so important. It shows that you're taking feedback seriously and that you're committed to continuous improvement. Any other tips for managing reputational risk?
One thing I always recommend is having a crisis communication plan in place.
Oh, interesting.
You never know when a negative incident might occur, so it's essential to be prepared to respond quickly and effectively.
It's like having a fire drill for your reputation.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
It's all about anticipating potential scenarios and having a clear protocol for how to communicate with your stakeholders in a crisis. And remember, it's not just about what you say.
Right.
It's about what you do. Your actions will always speak louder than words.
So true. Walking the walk is just as important as talking the talk. This has been such an insightful deep dive. We've covered so much ground, from the nitty-gritty details of insurance policies to the big picture strategies for financial management and reputation protection. As we wrap up, what's the key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
The key message is that protecting charitable assets is an ongoing process, not a one-time task.
Right.
It requires vigilance, adaptability, and a genuine commitment to ethical leadership.
Beautifully said. And I think it's important to emphasize that protecting charitable assets is about more than just legal compliance. It's about safeguarding the mission, the vision and the ultimate impact of these incredible organizations.
Absolutely. It's about ensuring that they can continue to make a positive difference in the world for years to come.
And on that inspiring note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. We've only scratched the surface, of course, and we encourage you to continue exploring these issues and seeking out resources and guidance to support your organization's journey.
Great advice.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep making a difference.